being here. First, as we celebrate the life of Claire Thebado Nee Johnson. My name is Jake Elwood. For those of you who don't know me, I am the husband of Kimberly Elwood. I had the great honor of having Claire live with me and Kim for the last 8.5 years. I bring this up at the beginning only because it'll be it has a little bit of importance for some of the things I'm going to talk about with regard to Claire. When she first came to live with us in December 2014, I was fairly new to the family. I am from Boston all my life, so I moved out to Marlboro for a little bit. Never really got to know Claire as well as you obviously all did growing up around her, with her, family, friends, everything like that. But as time went on, the years went on, we became much, much closer. I mean, I grew to love her such a great deal. Ultimately, at some point in time, I don't know when it happened, is she went from being Claire to being Mom. And that was basically because that's who she was. She was a mother. She was proud of being a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. But those maternal instincts ran strong and they ran deep. So I start with that. So as I go back and I talk to some of the family members about what needs to be talked about for Mom, what needs to be brought up. And they were all pretty confident and pretty consistent that we needed to talk about family. We needed to talk about animals. We needed to talk about her loves in with regard to that. So she was born in Boston. She was raised in Cambridge, and ultimately she was a nationally ranked speed skater. That was her passion when she was young. But as we all know, for each and every one of us, sometimes life takes a different path. And for her, that path was meeting Chucky Thebado, getting married, and having children. Now, they may have moved around a little bit at first, but her legacy is Marlboro. So we're not going to talk about some of the other places. We're going to talk about her time in Marlboro and what that time meant. She began with a large family, and she began pretty quick. She came up with twins right away, Kenny and Kevin. Okay, she wasn't half-stepping. She's like, okay, we're going to take this mother thing serious. And she did. Then along came Karen, Keith, Chris, my Kimberly, Kyle, Kerry. And she raised them all under one roof. Think about that, 8 kids, And she was a stay-at-home mom. And there's no disrespect in that. And times have changed. And at that time, that was an underappreciated and honorable profession. That's a 24/7 job. And she took it very, very seriously. Her children were her life. When you think about it, she started in the early 50s when Kenny and Kevin were born. Now it's hitting the early 70s, and she has teenagers. She has children. She has toddlers, and she has a baby at home. That's an amazing feat that she could keep that all together. And she never complained, not once. And I can attest to that because I know she talked about it a great deal living with us, talking about the old times. What was important to her was that the children were happy, they were engaged, but also that their friends were also a part of the family. So from what I'm told is there was an open door policy for the Thebado household. Okay? Kids came and went, and all the neighborhood kids were more than welcome to come in. And that's an awesome thing because that just shows friendship, shows love. She supported them all, no matter what they did, be it sports, be it the drum corps, whatever. She just wanted good children, and she raised great children. As you look at all of her children, they're all successful, and not in the same way. They're all successful in their own special ways. Some stayed in Marlboro. Some moved out of state. Some moved a little further into the western part of the state. So they're all over, and yet they're all here today, and they're all proud of being her children. Another of her loves was her grandchildren. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, she had rules, and one of the rules was dinner time. The bell got rung, and that meant get your ass home, dinner time, dinner's coming on the table. All right? That's a great thing. I love that. But you would think after raising 8 children that, she'd be tired and she'd want a break. No, she did not. As her children started their own families, okay, they were welcome in her home. Okay, hey, you got to get started. You raise money to save for a house, or maybe you have your own place. But you know what? You need Nana daycare, and she was there for that. She loved the Nana daycare, whether it was at home living with her, or whether she went to you and took care of those kids, so that her children, as they form their lives and start their families, are able to go ahead and go forth, be able to buy a house and support their own children going forward. That was huge for her, and she loved it, and she talked about it, and it was important to everybody that got brought up. But she didn't get tired of it. I mean, she kept going, because as each child moved on inside of their life, the next child is coming along and having their kids, and she's like, "Hey, I'm right there for it. I'm right there for it. I'm right there for it." Wow, I can't imagine. She also had time for her animals. She always had her dogs. She had her cats. She loved the horses. I'm told about her going down and mucking the stalls with Kimmy and everything like that. That's a really wonderful thing. I'm sad that I didn't get to have all of those experiences that you had, that you that you have to cherish. You have these memories to cherish of a wonderful, wonderful woman that I got to know far too late. So I can relate a little bit, because when Ma came to us in December 2014, we were told, she was very sick. She couldn't take care of herself no more. And it was a shame, because, some of her loves was, she was getting a little bit older, and it was a little bit tougher to get around and like that, but she could still drive. So what would she do? She'd get in the car, she'd go down to McDonald's, right? She'd hang out down there, have some coffee, and talk to her friends. She had her friends in the neighborhood, so she was able to talk to them. And she never forgot them, even after she had moved back, moved in with me and Kenny in Boston and like that. She was still talking to him, calling him, everything like that. But anyway, December 2014, she comes to live with us because she can no longer take care of herself, unfortunately, at home. She can't drive. She comes to lives with us. And Kimmy we're told that, hey, the doctor tells us, we'll try to get her through the summer. Wow, get her through the summer. It's at 8 months maybe, So we had to deal with it. It is what it is. Again, I didn't know her as well yet, but I know how much Kimmy loved her. I know how much her family loved her. And she started her treatments. Going to the chemo, taking her to some of the appointments, Kimmy taking her to the appointments and everything like that. And oh my gosh, she rebounded. She came back. She fought. She was still strong. Okay. The strength that helped her raise 8 children, helped her raise neighborhood kids, helped her raise grandchildren, helped her see great-grandchildren being born. That got her through that cancer. That got her to stay another day, another week, another month, another year. And I'm so grateful for that, because she did blast back, and that is so fantastic. One of the sacrifices that she made in raising the children, grandchildren, and everything like that was the fact that she didn't travel. Kim, Karen, Kerry, Carol were able to take Ma to Punta Cana in 2016. Those are some of the greatest photos that I see of her. I just see the happiness in her, that after her taking care of everybody for so long, somebody was taking care of her. And I know she appreciated it. She's not the kind to get out there and rah-rah and everything like that. She was a strong woman, but I know she was happy to have it. When she came to us, she had her, again, we talked about her dogs. She came to us, she had her 4 dogs. God love them. Little ankle biters, yipping and yapping and everything like that. And she loved them. But what I remember is just talking to her. And she would just tell me story after story after story about how proud she was of not only her children and the success that they all had in their own various fashions, but her grandchildren. She loved talking about their sports, what their achievements were. She never had a bad word for anybody. Why? Because there wasn't one, because she raised great kids. And those kids raised great grandkids and great grandkids, so to speak. All right. Another unfortunate thing for me is the fact that, yes, I got 8.5 years with her. They were a tough 8.5 years. She had her ups and downs and everything like that. She never complained, not once. She was very, very sick at times. It wasn't pretty, but she didn't complain. She was strong. She was steadfast. She wouldn't wilt. And I'll tell you that even though she passed, it wasn't from lack of strength that she passed. Okay, it was tough at the end. She knew she led a great life. She knew she led a good life. She knew she led a proud life. She was proud of every single person she knew. Her family was everything to her. She loved it. She loved her family. She loved the spouses. She loved the grandchildren, the kids, their spouses, and she was proud of it. When she let go for us. She had the strength to say, you know what? They're suffering watching me suffer. So while she would still love to be here and still be a part of us, she knew how much it was hurting us to see her suffer. And she had the strength to say, you know what? It's time to go. Because we're all going to go. It's time for me to let go, to say goodbye. And that's what I'm going to do now. Okay? Claire Johnson, Thebado, Matt, I love you. And goodbye. Thank you for listening to me. I didn't want to be too long. All right. I hope I wasn't. We have a lot of people here, and I know, I'm sure I might have missed something because, again, I wasn't a part of the family 25, 30, 40 years ago. If there's anybody who would like to come up and say a couple of words, I please welcome you to come up and have this moment. Austin, sure, come up.
All right, it's working. I'll start this off by saying thank you for everyone who came here today, showing our support for the family. I've sad moments. It's gonna be sad times for this weekend. I know everyone spent good times with her. She was a great good mom, grandma, whatever you call her. But she would always support me of things I want to do, like sports, football. She always tells me, when's your next game? What you gonna do? What do you want to do after high school? What college you go to? I said, Nana, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what college I'm gonna go to. I don't know what I'm gonna do after high school. I'll figure all that out senior year. But yeah, it's hard seeing her like this, but it's the nature of life. You come and go with good memories, hard times, and strong women. And that's what she is, a very strong woman. She meant a lot to me. She was like more than a grandma. She was like my other mom, you can say. It's hard. It's very hard to comprehend all this. A lot of pressure coming into everybody here. But one thing she always liked to do is give me change. She gave me change because she knew that I would always get it from her. She loves giving it to me, and this was actually the last bag she gave to me. It says Austin love Nana. I told my mom and aunt that I didn't want to spend none of this money. I want to put it in like my room or something. But yeah, it's just when I saw it, I started crying. I had to get away from auntie and them and go to the bathroom. It was very hard. I couldn't even at least I got to say goodbye when I left last time from Boston, but I didn't know I'd come back up seeing her like this. It's a struggle, but God taught me to maintain myself. My Nana taught me to be strong just like her. She always wanted me to be good in life, and she's just one of my inspirations in life. She I don't know, she's just like, she was everything. She was my savior. She was like a god to me. But yeah, love you, Nana. You know I'm always love you. I know you're always gonna watch over us, all of us. Even if you know you're not family, you're still family to all of us. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and sorry for the troubled times.
Is there anybody else who'd like to come up and say anything? Absolutely.
Hey everyone, for those of you that don't know me, Chad, Karen's youngest son. Um, I have a daughter, Juliet, and I just am truly very, very grateful that my mom had Nana, and she was a beautiful person, extremely witty, very funny, and that light that she had shone very bright, and I think that light shines through your mom. And you came very bright, and I'm just extremely grateful that Nana was here and was able to give all of you life and has a million grandkids and great grandkids, and it's just incredible that she's such an incredible woman. I'm just appreciative that my daughter and all of us have kids and great grandkids. I just want everyone to know that her light lives through us. And, thank you, appreciate it.
Yes, she had an incredible gift that she was able to talk to any child, and that child felt that they were, at that point in time, the center of her universe, always and each and every time. And they loved that. Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak? Thank you, Ashley.
I'm gonna try to get through this without blowing my eyes out, but my Nana was my best friend. She always took me out to lunch. She would pick me up and go to Dino's and Marlboro, Sergio's. She would drop off my smelly goalie bag for practice with a bag of Gatorade and snacks. I'm like, Nana, it's just a 2-hour practice. I told her once that I liked tennis. The next day she showed up with 2 tennis rackets and 3 packs of tennis balls, and then I had to sign up for tennis camp because I had to use them. When Jake was talking about McDonald's, Nana would bring me with her, and I was maybe like 3 or 4 years old, and I'm sitting around all these older people not knowing what the hell they're talking about. Nana was just proud to have me there, and I would just take the little creamer, and that was my coffee, and I was just happy to get it. They would give me change. All the older guys would give me the change, and I would throw it out the window. So sorry, Austin, I could have kept that for you. She was a fighter, and she really kept us on our toes. Jake talked about the 8.5 years, and they were hard. But she wasn't ready to go. She was the first one in the party, last one to leave. She loved her family, and she wanted to be around as long as she could, and she was. I remember Kimmy would call my parents or whatever, and we'd get the call, all right, we gotta go to the hospital, we gotta get there. And then 2 days later, she's up and running again. We're like, what the hell, Nana? But she wanted to be here, and she loved us, and all 500 of us. I'll always love you, and you'll always be my best friend. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? All right. So absolutely.
Hello, I'm Dory, Kenny's wife. I just want to say about Claire, she's my mother-in-law. The best mother-in-law I ever had. 40 years, never an argument, never a crossword, never forgot my birthday, wonderful to my children. And the past week, when I think back a little bit about Claire's life, I think of her when she was younger. She was a nationally ranked skater. not just any skater, a speed skater. She was a young girl in Boston. She had her life ahead of her. And she went a little off track. She had two twins, and she was probably 18. And the light of her life, Kenneth and Kevin, she changed her course. As much energy as she put into her speed skating, she put into being a mother. She didn't stop at 2. She went at it with gusto, and she had 8 more. She was 8 in total. And she loved being a mother. And when her kids did a sport, they just didn't do a sport. They joined the drum corps and they traveled, and she traveled with them. And whatever they chose to do, she was in it 100%. And with her grandchildren, the same way. Whatever they chose to do, she made them feel like they were the most important ones, and they were important. And she didn't just have 1 or 2 grandchildren. When we started having grandchildren, Karen had 4 right off the bat, and she watched all of them. And on the weekend, she watched my kids because I worked, and she continued. And her great-grandchildren, she was just overjoyed with. When she'd sit and hold Alden, the motherhood just came out in her, And so what I want to say to her grandchildren is that inside your Nana, she had a fight. When she got cancer, she had terminal cancer, stage 4. She fought it with everything she had, and she won. She won a lot of years. And what I want to say to her grandchildren is, inside of you, you all have a little bit of Claire. Take that direction, that fight, and it's not a fight, an angry fight. It's a fight to have it in yourself to adjust the sails. Wherever your life direction takes you, go at it with a little bit of gusto because you've got it in you. And she always had it in her. And she, wherever life brings you, embrace it. However humble your job is or your experiences, embrace that and go with it. And I don't care if you're the greeter at Walmart. Go with that. Make the most of it. Bring the best that you have with that. You're a student, study. If you're a businessman, do business because Clea took on life with gusto. And you all have a little bit of that in you. So you go. And Claire, thank you for giving your grandchildren that tremendous gift that you gave them. And it's to face life head on.
Thank you so much, Terry. Anyone else out there? All right. So the last 2 things I have are first, about 6:15 down at the Wayside Inn. There'll be a repast. I hope to see as many as possible there. And then the final thing is for the family. Know that your wonderful memories from her, remember, her last few months might have been tough, but her birthday party in February, she went out with some beautiful memories that I know she's got with her now and she will cherish forever. All right, so thank you so much for everybody who can be here. And we hope to see you down at the Wayside Inn. Good afternoon.